Wow. Looks like you guys are getting two videos from me today. Usually don't do that, but when something happens, and I feel like this is a thing that happened that is worth me discussing for at least a little bit. I usually don't make videos about stuff that doesn't directly pertain to the Seahawks, but this took me by surprise to the point where I feel like I should. And, it affects the Seahawks a little bit. It definitely changes the way we look at the 2021 season. So, as of about an hour ago, I was streaming Call of Duty. We were having a good time. It looked like it was going to be chill, and then boom! The Detroit Lions have traded Matthew Stafford to the Los Angeles Rams. The Rams have given up in this trade, hold on, two first-round picks, one third-round pick, and Jared Goff. So, in order to acquire a 33-year-old quarterback who has missed, I think, more than a season's worth of games in the last 3 years, the Rams have given up two first-round picks, a third-round pick, and a starting quarterback, who is much younger than 33, by the way. I don't know exactly how old he is, but it's much younger than 33. So, if you happen to be a team out there right now like the Jets or the Giants or the Niners, and you're thinking about trading for Deshaun Watson, you better get out a napkin and start writing out, your next 9 or 10 first-round picks, because if Stafford's worth this, Deshaun Watson is worth way more. I got to give it up to both teams in a way. I mean, don't get me wrong. I think the Rams have gotten completely fleeced here, and I think they will regret this trade in the next few years. But when they get a lemon, they move on from that lemon by any means necessary. They realized they had a mediocre QB on a big contract, and most teams, especially I think the team that we root for, Seahawks, would have gone, oh, he's good because he won some playoff games, because he had a good game here, because he made a good throw there, because he won all these games, and, he's made the playoffs 3 years out of 4, and da-da-da-da-da. No, they were like, no, we think you suck. We think you suck so bad we will give up our future for a QB who is old and not even one of the best QBs in the league. And I respect that. I don't really respect giving up two first-round picks, but I respect the willingness to say, you know what, this guy's not that good. Let's go get better. So, enough about that. We could discuss just this trade for a little while if we really wanted to. Apparently, Washington was willing to give up 4 first-round picks for Stafford, which, god damn, I don't even know what to say about this. Again, if you're Deshaun Watson, you better be ready to convince whichever team you're going to give up like 18 first-round picks for all Jesus. But let's try to keep it Seahawks-centric. If you are a believer in the Jared Goff is actually really bad camp, then you're not really happy right now, because this move very likely makes the Rams better for the next 2 years. It does. I will give it that. And quarterback play matters tremendously in this league. I don't think that going from Goff to Stafford is worth all these picks, because Goff is probably below average and Stafford is above average, and I don't think that jump warrants this amount of draft capital. But if you're going to be objective these next 2 years, I think the Rams just got better. They now have a QB who can make more throws, who seems to deal with pressure a little bit better, and somebody who's probably very hungry to do some winning, because it's something that he didn't get to do very often in Detroit. So the Rams, a team that we already struggled to beat, and a team that has already won the division from us twice in the last 4 seasons, just got a little better at QB. So the rest of Russell Wilson's prime, however you want to define whatever Wilson's prime may be at this point, will be that much harder to take advantage of with a superior Rams team in the division. But there were a lot of people in my chat when I was playing Call of Duty who were really, really upset about this. They hated it. They were like, "Oh my God, the Rams with Stafford are going to be so good. They're going to win 14 games every year. Oh, they're going to be so good. I hate this. I hate the Rams so much. Why did the Lions do this?" I'll say a couple things. One, Stafford the last 3 years has not been able to stay healthy, and if he misses even a couple games over the next 2-3 seasons, that really, really takes a big bite out of the supposed value that the Rams were expecting to get out of Stafford when they gave up all this stuff to get him. Number two, if your perspective is that the Seahawks are not going to win another Super Bowl as long as Pete Carroll is the coach, if you think he's holding us back, then this is actually kind of cool. Because the Rams are going to be a better team for the next 2 years because of Stafford, at which point his contract is up and he'll be getting older and having already suffered some injuries. It's going to be pretty much the end of the line for Stafford. And by that point, you would hope that Pete Carroll would have parted ways with the Seahawks. And we would maybe have somebody much younger and much more hip, somebody much more familiar with the modern times and understanding of what NFL teams need to do in this day and age. And if you believe that, then it actually kind of sets itself up nicely for the Rams to start to feel the pain from this trade, just as the Seahawks acquire a coach who maybe understands how to get a little more out of this roster. So if you've kind of already cut your losses on the Pete Carroll era and you feel like we're just not going to win a Super Bowl as long as he's here, then this actually doesn't work out so badly, because the Rams are going to presumably compete at the highest level the next 2 years. But then after that, it's going to suck because they're going to have limited draft capital with which to rebuild. They already lost multiple first-round picks because of the Goff trade and the Ramsey trade, and now this trade. That's not to say that it becomes impossible to, not to say it is impossible to rebuild. The Rams have done a pretty good job of acquiring talent the last several years without first-round picks, but it becomes much harder. So if that's your perspective, this actually works out pretty well. And even if it's not your perspective, if you still think the Seahawks team has a window to win a Super Bowl now, which is reasonable because Wilson is getting up there in years as well, then I just don't see a huge upgrade. I see an upgrade, but not a huge one. So that's my take on this trade right now as it pertains to us. I wouldn't say I'm happy because Stafford's better than Goff, but he might be more injury prone than Goff, and he's certainly older than Goff, and this did not strike me as such a no-brainer trade that it made sense for the Rams to give up all this stuff. You know, I thought the Jalen Ramsey trade was a little desperate, but at least they got the best cornerback in the league. I thought the Jamal Adams trade that the Seahawks made last year was a little desperate, but at least we got the best safety in the league, probably. And I'll grant you, QB is very important in this league, way more important than safety or cornerback, but you can't tell me that 33-year-old Matthew Stafford is worth all this capital. They found a way out of the contract, at least, but, yeah, crazy times. All right, so that's how I see it affecting the Seahawks. This probably makes the road ahead a little harder for this team. We struggled to beat the Rams with Goff. They did get a better QB in this deal, but I see a lot of mines, a lot of claymores that the Rams can step on with what they did here. All right, see you guys in stream shortly. Peace out. Go Hawks.